Good morning, welcome back to another video, and today is another day of the 0 to Gold Cap Challenge. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so today I was actually thinking about pre-patch and what has gone about with pre-patch when it comes towards drops in dungeons. Now I remember that the first day, the drop chance had increased like stupid amounts. I remember Student did a video on that and I was like, oh damn, when I got back from work at like 1 in the morning I was like, let's get online now. But aside from all of that, how does it fare after the hotfix? So I felt like doing a couple of the dungeons of note, which is like Ulduman, and that is where we are today. And I have actually done an hour's worth of farming just to see on the loot potential wise on what's actually gone about. So aside from all of that, what do we actually have? Well, we don't have an awful lot of awesome stuff. We have a load of low tier stuff that we can actually just vendor for more gold, i.e. the min buyout of the Ember Wand is like 3 gold, 49 silver, and the actual min buyout for it is 1 gold, 80 silver. So it's better to just vendor that. Aside from all of that, there are different types of things that you actually get along with here. Some items actually was very viable to actually farm up from this actual dungeon, but mainly Ulduman has always not been a padding out dungeon. It's always for those high ticket dungeons and all that jazz. But as I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to pad myself out with a bit more stuff, and I would like to try my hand at getting hold of some additional rare items. Because as we well know, because of pre-patch, a load of the loot tables have changed because the level nerf, and I wanted to see if it was even easier to get a hold of certain things. And the thing that I found actually dropped the most for me from this was a blue pattern, and that actually sells for a 0.04, not overly that great. The min bio is 5 gold, and the region market value average is around 252. But here's the thing, I've never actually really seen this one actually drop all that much, and that was the plans of the Mithril Shield Spike. That's what started my interest into wanting to farm up Ulduman, is because I was seeing items that I don't regularly get. Like, if you do enough of a dungeon, you'll kind of get the gist on what type of items actually drop quite frequently for yourself. And overall, I found that a load of items that I actually didn't regularly see have actually started dropping, and they're nothing of note, nothing major, but they're worth like a few hundred gold more in all that jazz. So I actually also got a rare pattern. Obviously this will be worth a lot more on another realm besides my one where it's heavily transmog farmed, but the region market value average for that across all EU servers is around about 47,753 gold for this recipe. I got the Formula Enchant Shield Lesser Parry, and if you remember, I actually got this like a month ago with another gold farm that I actually did. So what I'm actually looking at is I wanted to see if the actual items that I'm actually getting a hold of or trying to farm up sell or pick up any frequently. So I have actually concluded by actually doing a bit of farming of Ulduman. I actually did do a farm up prior to this as well, and the loot that I actually gained from all of this, I worked out to be like a 10% increase on the amount of greens that I actually got on my initial run. So that's not too bad. I'm quite okay with it. Any uptick is an uptick in the slightest, but overall, am I really happy with it? Yeah, I pretty much am. It's a decent actual amount of greens that actually got to pad out my auction house. More drops mean you have more of a chance of getting a hold of other things. So that's why we're actually going to do a run of Ulduman to show you guys how to actually farm it. Now, for obvious reasons, I have done this in the past, but none of my actual things have actually changed besides the way my character looks. So what I actually do when it comes to Ulduman is pretty damn simple. I just run into the actual instance, and I like to actually just gather up all of these guys. By the way, I'm really curious to see what things have actually happened when it comes towards pre-patch. Like, when it came to pre-patch, the level squish, lots of places have got increased farming locations at the moment. Like, I know a lot of Legion farms have actually gained a lot of popularity when it comes towards raw gold. But for me, I really wanted to see how it affected the dungeons, because there is probably dungeons out there that have had a huge increase. So at the moment I'm running pretty much every single dungeon to see which ones have actually gained anything from this, and I'm starting with like the most popular ones for obvious reasons, and then I'm working my way back to the less popular ones to see which ones have actually gained a lot more overall. So has any of them had like a buff or anything to that effect? And I'm just wanting to see if it's actually gaining us any additional stuff when it comes to all that. Like, I know that the gold per hour for some of these items has actually increased, especially for Ulduman, which is quite surprising overall. Now, I know that we're getting a lot more greens from doing regular dungeon farming, and that means more greens for a transmog farmer will mean that we're going to get more gold, which is just pretty dead simple overall. It's kind of like a staple, so to speak. But overall, more greens means more gold in the long run, and that means you can put in the same amount of time as you would when it comes towards transmog farming and get more gold and bang for your buck. So I'm really looking into this at this moment in time, and for obvious reasons I wanted to start with a popular one, which is Ulduman. That's the high ticket one, because I wanted to see if the increase in drops would actually net me in any of the additional blues, like the harder ones to actually drop. At the moment it seems to be about the same, but the frequency of the greens that actually drop is quite considerably higher when it comes towards Ulduman. Now, overall, I take a little bit of a weirder route. I don't like to faff around going into the other different subsections of the actual area. I just tend to do my own way, and that's about it. And pretty much my actual route for farming Ulduman is just grabbing the biggest packs of mobs and burning them down, and making my way over to the chest at the end, and then just using my Dreamwalk ability to Dreamwalk out and then reset that back in again. This is how I prefer to do it, because I want to kill as many mobs as I can in an hour's worth of time and keep within the 6-minute timer for doing a run. That is because then I can get all 10 of my actual runs by killing the maximum amount of mobs, and then I can go about doing it that way. That's what I tend to do when I'm actually doing a transmog farm in a dungeon, because you're locked to 10 lockouts, and if you're locked to 10 lockouts you're going to want to keep under the 6-minute timer. That is from start to reset and back in again. So you have 6 minutes to run the dungeon, kill as many mobs as you can. You want to go for the highest density, and then you're going to want to run out and reset and then jump back in, and that needs to be in under 6 minutes, so you can get all 10 of your runs to go through. Now, aside from all of that, this one is pretty dead simple. I find Ulduman to be really easy in order to do when it comes towards like farming or anything to that matter. Now, you do get quite a wide variety of different types of stuff. You do, however, get a load of crap stuff that actually comes along with this, but overall it's mainly a high ticket value farm. This isn't what you would consider a padding out dungeon, where you can pad things out, but it is not recommended for you to pad out your auction house with, due to the fact that it's mainly highly farmed just for those different types of things like the jackhammer or the pendulum of doom. It's really for those high ticket items. But that was what we wanted to test today, is by testing out if it's actually going to give us more of those higher end actual drops or all that jazz. Now, from what I can tell, I've actually gained more recipes than I usually do, and overall a lot more greens than I usually do. Overall, there's no actual significant outliers for getting the super rare drops. Like, the drop chances for those don't seem to have been affected, besides like the amount of greens that you're actually going to be getting along with this. However, this can correlate towards more drops, obviously mean more stuff, but overall not overly that much in the grand scheme of things. So what do I actually think of Ulduman? Now, Ulduman is by far a high ticket value farm. Now, I wouldn't recommend farming up Ulduman for padding out your auction house if you're just getting started into transmog. What I would recommend, however, is using Ulduman in order to, if you once you do have your 2,000 auctions on the auction house, I would highly recommend doing Ulduman if you wanted to take the risk in order to get a hold of one of those high value items. So you're still pulling in regular gold, but you want to take the chance and see if you can actually get all of that stuff moving forward. Now, for obvious reasons, I don't like to sell the rings. It's totally up to you if you want to sell rings. I know a lot of people are like, but you should sell rings. I don't want to sell rings. I'd rather sell stuff that I know is going to sell on a frequent basis, and I'd rather just get the raw gold from those actual rings than actually trying to sell them. But aside from all of that, Ulduman overall is a pretty good farm. Love it to pieces, and has always been a staple for me when it comes to when I want to take a risk and try and see if I can get any high-end value items. Aside from all of that, guys, that is pretty much all I have to say for today. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow. If you want to support the channel and help make the channel even better, then why not check out the Patreon? Members get additional info, gold making resources, and Patreon specific content. The link is located in the description down below. Thank you and have an awesome day.